This is something that I get asked about a lot when friends are debating booking a Disney cruise, and particularly if it's their first Disney cruise. Is concierge worth it on Disney Cruise Line? So like with most luxury purchases, that is a personal question, depends on what you value most, and also on the price difference between concierge and non-concierge, which really can vary a lot from sailing to sailing. So the way I like to answer is by just sharing my favorite concierge perks and also how I try to kind of replicate them on non-concierge sailing. So if the perks sound like something that you really can't live without, then concierge may be for you, even if the price difference is pretty high. And if some of these tips that I use to mimic some degree of those concierge experiences sound doable to you, then concierge may not be for you unless the price difference is a little bit less. So let's start with those pros. What have been our favorite things about sailing concierge level on Disney Cruise Line? Number one is that earliest booking window at 130 days prior to sailing, midnight Eastern time. So the way this works is you will get an email from Shoreside Concierge team welcoming you to concierge and inviting you to email them your booking request directly. So this is what our invitation email looked like last time we sailed concierge, which was September of 2023. You'll see inside the email it gives you the specific day and time when your booking window opens, and it actually links you to all the different activities you can book on the ship so you can start exploring them. This email came about 5 days before our sailing. Sometimes it comes a little earlier. I would say usually no later than this. And if you have literally any of the popular requests like Royal Tea or Olaf's Picnic, a specific time for Bippity Boppity, cabana at Castaway, so on and so forth, you'll want to craft that email in advance and be ready to hit send literally the second that midnight Eastern time hits, because wishes are granted in the order that they're received, and there are plenty of other concierge guests who will also be sending their booking request emails at the same time, hoping to capitalize on those top dollars spent for the early booking perks. When we sailed concierge on the Fantasy, what did my booking email look like? Well, here you go. I'll share it with you. So I prioritized my requests in order. Our top request was a cabana at Castaway Cay, which was really fantastic, and I'll be reviewing that in a future video, but that was our top request and we did get it. Then it was Palo Brunch, then Royal Court Tea, and Bippity Boppity Boutique, which I wanted to be sure were booked on the same day, and so I was able to just mention that in the email. I was also able to ask them to book Royal Gathering, so I didn't have to stay up until midnight anymore, besides this one time to send the email, so that was great. I also made a spa booking. I requested a specific beverage for our stateroom fridge, because in concierge, your stateroom fridge comes fully stocked. I asked them for a specific dining rotation because we wanted to make sure not to miss a particular main dining room on one of the days that we were going to be doing an excursion that went a little bit late, so I could kind of ask for, a particular restaurant to be on a particular day. I booked an excursion for one of the ports. I asked if we could sit at a table where we could talk to Crush in Animator's Palette, and I asked for a full-size lounger on our veranda since we had a one-bedroom with a bump out, so I knew there would be lots of space out there for more than just chairs. We received a prompt reply to our email just acknowledging that it was received, and they said that we'd be able to log into our DCL app, the Navigator app, to view which wishes were granted in about 5 days. So there is a 5-day waiting period where you don't really know if you got what you asked for. So, but that's essentially just gives them time to finish processing all of the concierge guest requests, and then booking then becomes open for Pearl. We were actually very fortunate we got all of those wishes, and honestly, I was shocked. I had literally asked for anything and everything I could possibly think of, and somehow they did it all. And not to say that everyone will have that same experience every single time, but that was just what we experienced. Second thing that we loved about concierge, and relatedly, I mentioned this already, not having to stay up until midnight on separate occasions. So as a concierge guest, you're automatically in the earliest boarding groups, so you don't have to log in at midnight on your check-in day to kind of vie for one of those early port arrival times. And as I mentioned before, you can request Royal Gathering as part of your email to the Shoreside team, so you also don't need to worry about doing that at 30 days out at midnight. So rather than staying up until midnight, not 1, 2, but 3 times, you do it just once. You do it at that 130-day mark to send that email for that early booking window. So I don't know about you guys, but we are an early morning household, so the fewer times I need to stay up until midnight, the better. Number 3, and also related, is that cabana access at Castaway and now at Lookout. So we had tried in vain for many cruises to book a cabana at Castaway, and we finally snagged one when we were sailing Concierge. So again, I'll more thoroughly review the cabana experience in a future video, but particularly if you have really young kids in your group or older folks in your group, I think it can definitely be worth the spend. Would I say that you need a cabana to have a good time at the islands? No, absolutely not. We have done it. We've only had a cabana once and found that particularly once Sydney dropped her afternoon nap, it's really no problem at all to have a wonderful time without one. However, it was a totally luxurious and absolutely fun experience that we are very happy and lucky to have had. So no regrets about that purchase whatsoever, and Concierge made it happen. Number 4, and this only actually applies to 1-bedroom staterooms and above, which are always inherently in Concierge, but the upgraded room service, and namely hot breakfast in the room. So I would say almost every day of our sailings in Concierge in the 1-bedroom, we had hot breakfast delivered to the room. I'm talking full menu of the main dining room is available if you are in a 1-bedroom or above and have a dining table in your room. So bacon, eggs, hash brown, Mickey waffles, you name it, all plopped right into your stateroom. You can order it up until 9 a.m. the morning of. We just call up our concierge host or pop over to the lounge to place our order. It's very easy, it's convenient. Honestly, maybe I should have put that perk higher up on the list because it really was so handy to not have to get halfway ready and kind of navigate cabanas or the main dining room before even having my morning coffee. So 5 stars, highly recommend. Worth the concierge price tag in and of itself? No, but it sticks out as making our mornings slow and pleasant rather than chaotic, as they can sometimes be when your day starts off with a buffet trip. Number 5, and this is speaking more specifically to the larger staterooms, which again are inherently concierge. If you get a 1-bedroom or a 2-bedroom, you are always going to be in concierge. And on longer sailings especially, just having more room to stretch out, hang out, not be stepping on each other's toes is such a wonderful perk. So again, the regular DCL staterooms are quite nice, but again, having 600 plus square feet and 2 full bathrooms, as we did in the 1-bedroom suite, is just unarguably better than 300 square feet and 1 bathroom for the family to share. So again, is it the end of the world? No, and we've only done a 1-bedroom once for a special occasion. It was quite pricey, but the extra space was something I definitely did not hate. We each had our own separate closets, a gigantic bathtub, and again, the full dining table I already mentioned was so nice for eating, snacking, etc. Just really took the comfort level on that particular cruise to a completely different stratosphere. Number 6, this is the concierge team, and you never go to guest services for anything when you're sailing concierge. You go to your concierge team and they have the pixie dust. So want to change your reservation or try to snag something you didn't think of in your early booking email? Just ask them. They are the best of the best, and they will do whatever they can to make your sailing as seamless as possible. Number 7, the Concierge Lounge. It is a quiet oasis where you can go for snacks, drinks. It's also where your concierge team hangs out. They have a happy hour each night that is quite extensive. I believe ours was something like 5 to 9 p.m. So you can go grab a free/included drink there before dinner and also before the nightly stage show in the Walt Disney Theater, rather than purchasing drinks in the main dining room or down at the theater. The lounge is also where you'll meet up before the stage shows for early seating. Essentially, concierge guests are escorted down to the Walt Disney Theater in a little secret elevator that only the concierge have access to. That happens about 10 minutes before the doors open to the general public, and you get to pick your seat before the masses descend, which is really nice. You're given a nice little bucket of complimentary popcorn to munch on while you wait, probably in addition to the drink you just picked up at happy hour. So it saves a little bit of time waiting in line for those quote-unquote good seats in the front and center section of the theater, but it's definitely more fun to pass that time with your new best friends in the concierge lounge versus standing outside the theater getting, sneezed on by toddlers and your toes stepped on by 6-year-old boys running around dressed as pirates on their third glass of Cloud and Blue. Number 8, speaking of the secret elevator, priority tendering and disembarkation. So this is exactly what it sounds like. And again, this involves meeting up in the concierge lounge. If you want to be first off the ship at a tender port, you can be. The details vary port to port. report, so I won't get into that here. This is just something to check in with your concierge host about, and they'll be sure to let you know when and where to be if you want to be off the ship right away at a tender port. Disembarkation is much more consistent across sailings, and that entails being in the concierge lounge, usually by about 8 a.m. Your host will let you know the time for sure on the morning of disembarkation, and you'll take the special concierge elevator that is in the lounge down to deck 3 with your concierge host, and they will personally walk you to the front of the line to disembark the ship. No lines, no waiting. It does involve being up early, but it's glorious, especially if you have a stroller or something that makes the elevator kind of a must-have. Elevators can be really difficult to come by on disembarkation day when everyone's trying to use them at the same time, so this perk is especially valuable in those kind of situations. Number 9, the private character meet and greet. So one of the days of our sailing, there was a private character meet and greet on the concierge sun deck. And this was great because our daughter got to meet Donald Duck in his little sailor outfit with zero weight and got to spend quite a bit of time with him, actually. Obviously, character meets are abundant on the ships in particular, but it was really cool to have the character come to you. So you have no control over which character it is, and you don't actually know until you get up there, but it was really cool nonetheless, and it does stick out as a really good memory from that sailing. Last but not least, and this is kind of in a way summarizing all of the other top favorites, but number 10 reason for loving concierge was just the extra time and energy it gave us back, because all of these things that I mentioned were made so easy. It just felt like we had more time to explore the ship. The pace felt a little bit slower. I would say overall we did have a more relaxing sailing. Now again, we don't usually sail concierge. We have a fabulous time sailing in a regular stateroom. Veranda stateroom is kind of our usual go-to for Disney Cruise Line, but concierge really did change the feel and the pace and the overall experience of the cruise, so I would put that as a perk. Okay, so those were our favorite things or some perks we observed around concierge. So what happens if you're not sailing concierge? Is everything difficult and stressful? So I've alluded to this, but my short answer is no. You can have an absolutely wonderful cruise without sailing concierge. And here are a few strategies I've developed over a dozen plus cruises to just kind of lightly mimic some of our favorite elements of the concierge experience without that full concierge price tag. Tip number 1 is around that early booking. about sailing concierge, and then 10 tips for just making your sailing really go more smoothly. So as an added bonus to think about, what's the cost and value comparison here potentially? Well, if you add up the cost of all the little tips and tricks I mentioned, you're talking about $60 in gear for Castaway, some beverages to stock your fridge on that first day, let's say $50 or $60 depending on what you like, some cocktails or mocktails and snacks for your waits outside the theater are going to run, $20 per show, so maybe $80, assuming you only do this for the 2 big shows. We aren't big drinkers, so the happy hour in the concierge lounge didn't really save us all that much money, but that could be a factor for some people. DCL transportation to the port is going to run about $180 for a family of 4. That's roughly the same as a private car for that return trip from the port to the airport, actually. So that's almost a wash at that point. That all adds up to about $400 just as a ballpark figure. There could be other costs, like maybe a later flight is more expensive, or maybe the alcohol piece is a factor for you. You'll kind of have to do your own math, but outside of those hard costs, you also have to consider the additional costs of the time and energy investments. So waiting in line, staying up late, getting up early. So again, if you're willing to do those things, clearly you can see that you can really upgrade your overall experience on your cruise a little bit with some or all of these strategies for a fraction of the cost of concierge, which can vary, but is often almost double the cost of a veranda stateroom and sometimes even more. So at the end of the day, I hope this was helpful to you. I know this can be a really tough decision, especially if you've never sailed before or you think you may sail only once with DCL. I always tell people if cost is no issue, why not sail concierge? But if cost is a consideration, like it is for most of us, and you think you'll probably sail again, I might sail in a regular stateroom first, just so you can really appreciate the concierge experience and understand what you might want to ask for in that booking window email. If you think you may be one and done with DCL though, and there are specific things you want to do on the ship or at some of the destinations, I would seriously consider splurging for concierge just to be sure you get as many of those things as possible as a first-time cruiser. No matter what though, we have had wonderful experiences sailing with DCL, both concierge and non-concierge. So these are kind of good, better, best type of decisions. Hopefully these are all things to consider that can help you decide whether concierge is worth it for you and your family. If you enjoyed this video, let me know by giving it a like. And if this topic prompted some questions for you, feel free to leave those in the comments. And if you'd like to see more of these Disney FAQ videos in the future, or just some of our actual trip vlogs, please subscribe to the channel so you can follow us along in our adventures. Until next time, goodbye!